Hello and welcome. Today's episode, well, it's a bit of a hybrid. It's a part sewing vlog and part me making a dress.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
Okay, it is time to make another dress. This is from the Desperately Seeking Susan capsule collection. Now, Susan has a best friend who works at the Magic Box theatre. It's got like variety theatre, and one of the acts is this magic show, and Crystal, Susan's best friend, is the assistant. And she has these fabulous costumes that she wears on stage, but also when she wears her own clothes, she like mixes vintage with neon, and it's so gorgeous. I didn't know, like, obviously people have always worn vintage, but yeah, this is like back in the 1980s. Anyway, I just think she is the coolest. And I don't have any of the exact fabrics that she's wearing, but I was like, well, this is kind of like a tropical shirt, sort of. And it's got indoor plants on it and some palm leaves. And I like the colours. And then I also have this other fabric as well. So I've got 2 yards of the blue tropical looking one and 2 yards of the vintage floral looking one. And I'm just going to alternate them. So as you can see, I've cut out the bodice from the blue fabric and the floral one. So yeah, we'll make the bodice first. So I'm just using that McCall's one that I really like, M7948. So I've just traced out the front bodice and the back bodice, and then I cut them out in the outer fabric as well as a set in the pink, which is going to be the lining. There is a little bit of pink in there, but I'm not sure if you can really see it. So I've cut them out, and the first step is to just machine sew the back, the bottom 2/3. You have to sew that, and the top third is going to be like, it's going to have a press stud or a button at the top. So I did that on the lining as well as the outer fabric, and then I pressed the seams open. So now it is ready to actually make the bodice proper. So first thing is we have to do the shoulders. It's just a lot of tiny little steps, and in between each step you have to press. So pin the top front and the top back together to create the shoulders. Then you machine sew those. Once you've machine sewed them, then of course you have to press the seams open. So here we are. I've pressed the seams open, and it's a bit messy, isn't it? Okay, here we go. So I've pressed the seams open, and I've just put them back. So now we have to do the neck. Now the shoulders are done, it's time to do the neckline. And obviously I'm using the burrito method. So you lay down the lining flat, face up and outer side up. And now you put the this is the outer bodice outside down, so right side of the fabric down. It's a little bit tricky with this fabric. This is actually the back of the fabric. You can tell because you can see the back seam. Okay, so we've got the right sides together, and I've pinned them together at the neckline. You do the shoulder seams first, and then center front, center back, and then you fill in all the other pins so it's even. Then you machine sew it, and then you have to clip the curves so that it sits, because it's curved. It's going to bunch up if you don't clip the curves. So just clip it and then turn it out the correct way. And you also have to just cut a bit off the angle of the corners so that the corners will sit properly when you turn it out. Then I turned it out and I pressed it. So that's all done. Oh, and I also flipped it around 180 degrees, but you get what I mean. So now that the shoulders and the neckline are done, the next step is to do the sleeves or the armholes. It's sleeveless. So we'll do one side first, and what you do is flip back the outer fabric, and then you do the same for the lining. You flip it back just as far. This is going to sound weird, but yeah. So, and then you just bring back the outer fabric. So the point of those steps was to get the lining flat under all the layers. And now you roll in the other side. You roll it up so that you put it in the middle of the side that you're working on. So just carefully just roll the lining and the outer up. And now we've just got the one side that we're working on, and with the lining you have to carefully pull that over the top of that roll and lay it flush against the outer fabric. So you've got the two sleeves or armholes together and you pin them into place. I pin the shoulder seam first because you want the lining to match the outer fabric exactly at the shoulder seam. So I do that first, then I pin the rest, and like one side and then the other side. So now that it's pinned, it is time to carefully machine sew this, and then you have to clip the curves. So, this is the other side of the fabric, obviously, but it's the same armhole. And yeah, so I've machine sewed it, and my machine is messing up at the moment. It's jumping stitches and I don't have time to pull it apart, clean it, oil it, and put it back together again. So I just did 2 rows of stitches. So that's why there's 2 rows of stitches on top of each other. Then I clipped the curve, and then, so now it's clipped, and then you just pull the whole thing out through the shoulder strap, and I went ahead and I did the other side as well. So now that both sides are done, it is time to press it once more, and it looks so much better. It does take a lot of time to stop, plug the iron in, press it, unplug the iron, and then move on to the next step, but it also looks way better. So anyway, now we're almost done. The next thing is to do the sides. So obviously you've got to pin the outer bodice front with the outer bodice back, and the lining front with the lining back, and obviously they meet in the underarm, and that's why it's half and half. So you machine sew both sides, and then you have to press them so that the seams are open. Otherwise you'll have too much bulk under the arm. And once you've done that, then you just pull it down and it's the bodice, finally. So now that we've done the bodice, we can work out what we're doing with the skirt. So normally what I do is I use half a yard to cut the bodice out, and I make that up. And then I have 1.5 yards of this fabric left, plus the full 2 yards of the other fabric left. So here we go. I've put the bodice on a mannequin, and it's really cute. I like it. It's not my usual. I bought it to make a shirt, and then I was like, nah, it's too flimsy. I really just like crisp cotton shirts. But I think it's going to look cute with this other vintage floral. It's hard to judge what the dress is going to look like when all you're seeing is the bodice, because obviously you need the weight of the skirt to pull a bodice down. It is designed so that it looks way too short, but once you add the weight of the skirt, it all makes sense. So yeah, just bear that in mind when you're looking at just the bodice. So both of these fabrics, the cotton lawn and this sort of tropical blue one, are 60 inches wide or 150 centimeters. So they're the same width, selvage to selvage. So I can just cut them in strips, and each piece is selvage to selvage, the exact same length, which is good. The last one I made, one was a quilting fabric, like 45 inches wide, which is 115 centimeters, and the other one was 150 centimeters or 60 inches wide. So it was a little bit of math involved in that one, but this one, they're just the same. So you can cut, selvage to selvage. The first tier is going to be 2 lengths, and the second tier of the skirt and also the third tier are going to be 4 widths across. So that was easy math. So now we've got all the ingredients cut out, as it were. It is time to sew these into loops. So the first tier is 2 bits. I just have to sew those 2 seams. And the second tier is 2 different fabrics, and each bit of fabric is 4 strips. So first I'll sew the blue 4 strips together, and then I'll sew the floral 4 strips together, and then I'll sew them both together along the so that they're all just one big bit in the second tier. And once I've done that, I will be back. Oopsie, didn't film myself making the skirt. So yeah, that is what I did. I sewed the strips together, then pleated them down and sewed them together the other way. And then I attached the bodice to the skirt, and now we have a dress. So there we go. And this is the I really want to do this tweed next. It's the tulle tweed, so it's really light and airy and sort of spongy, but I think it'll be the perfect colour to go with this. And yeah, I just love this dress. It looks a lot more vintage than I thought it would. The last one I did, it looks more like a dress, like a garden party dress. Whereas this one, I don't know, something about it looks very vintage. So the sky coloured one is voile, cotton voile, and the vintage floral look one is a cotton lawn. So they're both quite light cottons. And yeah, it just brings a lightness to it, and it makes the skirt look fuller and sit out a little more. Perhaps that's it. Also, I think the length, because the Desperately Seeking Susan, the main character's best friend, Crystal, she wears vintage clothes. I think this looks, it kind of suits that character, like what I was going for, this length, because it makes it look very vintage. And here I've just pinned up the two ends. And yeah, I really like these colours together. It's not usual, but I think they clash adorably. And yeah, I wouldn't say they mesh well together, but I do think they clash really nicely. And there's just, I feel like there's a joy about it and a lightness to the fabric. Obviously, in the cooler months, I'll just wear leggings and a long sleeve t-shirt underneath, or even just a t-shirt or a shirt underneath, depending on how cold it is. But yeah, and I noticed that the green in the vintage, actually in the blue bit as well, there's some green palm trees. So I put my dragon scale jacket with it. And this reminds me of the character that the whole dress is based on, because she pairs, I think she's wearing an evening gown, and then she's wearing a sort of tropical top over the top of it, and then neon yellow stockings with neon yellow socks as well. It's a hilariously, I wouldn't say it's a flattering outfit or anything like that, but it's a great outfit. I love it. And yeah, I like that character. So there we go. I have done the dress. Oh, I kind of want to make one like that, but I won't because I don't have time. Anyway, I love this one so much. I decided, I've got 3 things I want to do next. So I've got the tweed for the jacket, and then I got out this jacket. It's a base jacket for a floral jacket. So I'm not sure if I've got enough flowers, so that's why that one's out. And I also got out from my fabric stash, I got out all the cotton lawns. I think there's a few quilting cottons in here as well. But yeah, I got them all out because I bought all these to make shirts, and I don't really want shirts. Maybe next year I'll make some shirts, or I'll make a couple, but I don't need 30 shirts. Who needs 30 shirts? Anyway, but yet I bought them, honestly. So yeah, I got them all out, and I've just started pairing them. So there's about 2 yards of each one. I think there's 3 yards maybe. And so for a sort of small cotton dress, just a really simple one, it's 2 yards for me. And then for one that's like the one that I just made, that was 4 yards. And then for a maxi, you can either use 6 yards or 8 yards. So yeah, basically, if you want to make a full length dress, you need 2 different fabrics. If you want to make a maxi dress, then you need 3 or 4 different fabrics. So I just sort of put mostly there's 2 or 3 fabrics together. And yeah, so I'm going to turn most of these into dresses rather than shirts, I think, maybe. Or maybe I'll do half and half. I'm not sure. Dresses are just more fun to wear. So maybe I'll make a few dresses and then sort of see how we go from there. I think these two look really interesting together. One's a cotton lawn, the bottom one is cotton lawn, and the brown with the circles is a quilting cotton. So I think that one's going to look really unusual, a little bit quirky, but also cute. So as I said, most of them are just pairing 2 fabrics, but the yellow ones, these have got yellow and beige. And two of them are just so, they look like vintage wallpaper. I've also got the yellow with the white polka dots. So maybe those four into I don't know. I'll put them aside until June, I think. And yeah, maybe by then I'll really want oh, these two look good together. That's a Liberty of London one. And I was kind of upset that I only bought 2 yards of that. But if I put this with it, I could make it into a full dress instead of just a short, simple cotton one. And the magenta one, again, I only bought 2 yards of that. It doesn't really go with anything because it's so strong in itself. I mean, it looks nice with this top one with the white base. That one, no, they don't go in my opinion. I just love this fabric so much, and I'd wear it much more if it was a longer, fuller dress. So I think those two go well. And that one. They don't really go exactly, but they clash in an interesting way. Yeah, maybe those three. I'll put them away, and if I take them out from my stash again and decide they're nice, then I'll do it. Otherwise, I'll sort of just, yeah. There's a few that I really like, and actually these two, because they're so strong and intense, I think they pair well together. And it sort of brings out the tiny little wine red coloured flowers in that mustardy based one. Yeah, maybe those two together. I don't know. I know I want the pink on the top, and the mustard one would sort of just make it fuller in the skirt. So maybe, who knows? Anyway, I stack them back up and I'm going to put them away again. I haven't quite got around to that yet, but this will probably be the next jacket you'd see. I think I'll probably have time to do that tomorrow, but I have a few hours today, so I'm going to play with this jacket and see if I can. I'm just not sure if there's enough flowers, because there aren't that many flowers, but I do have some sort of wine-coloured leaves as well in there. So I don't know that I think it's okay, because if you have different coloured foliage, then you don't need quite as many flowers proper. So we shall see. Oh, there are the leaves. They're just coming up on the left bottom corner. They're the leaves that I was talking about. Aren't they pretty? Anyway, speaking of pretty, I love this tweed. I was going to, I still can't decide what colour beads. I mean, do you use blue? Do you use aqua, teal, coral, pink and orange? So many choices. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and have maybe been inspired to use up a few fabrics from your fabric stash like I did. Thanks again and happy sewing.